This is RIFF Radio, a presentation of RIFF Magazine Online, interviews, music news, concert reviews from the Bay Area and beyond. I am Mike DeWald. On this episode, we're joined by the drummer for one of the most prolific bands in modern rock. They are back on the road, they're back with a new single, and they are back with a new album, Back from the Dead. They will be here in the Bay Area in November, a co-headlining tour with Evanescence, along with Lilith Czar and Plush. A lot of great bands on that bill at the SAP Center here in the Bay Area. Lizzie and Arejay Hale formed the band back in 1998 and are still going strong. The band has a day off on the road. Arejay Hale joins us from Kentucky. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today on RIFF Radio.
Thanks a lot, man. I was just saying to you earlier before we started taping, it's just great to see anybody.
Right. Yeah, you guys
and also,
you guys are taking the bubble seriously on the road. What does that look like
yes.
for you guys?
I know we just had this conversation, but I'll reiterate. The only people that we've seen on this tour is us and our crew, which is fine. We get along great. Like I was saying, we're a rolling dysfunctional circus of a family. So we've been having a blast just hanging out with each other. We'll set up some tents outside in the parking lot. We'll barbecue. We'll have beers. We'll puff on cigars. We'll watch movies. We'll listen to music, and it's been nice. Honestly, it's been honestly like we haven't seen our crew through the entire pandemic. So a year and a half, I hadn't seen any of them, and then we started doing rehearsals right before, like earlier in the summer, and I didn't even recognize them. So many of our crew members lost like 50 pounds. They've been cooking really healthy, eating really healthy, living really healthy lifestyles. So we're all in really good spirits, and we're all just very thankful to be able to be out here. And that's why we're taking our safety protocol very seriously. We're all masking up. I got mine. I never leave the bus without it. We mask up anywhere we go outside the bus. We're getting swabbed every single day to make sure all of us on our touring personnel are testing negative, and we're social distancing. We're not mingling with anybody. One of the sadder points I have to point out, though, is that we're not doing meet and greets, and that's really killing us because that's one of our favorite things to do, and it's a bummer. Like we really love doing meet and greets every day, so everybody gets to hang out and we get to take a picture, and then at the end of the night we always go out and like high five everybody and take pictures and hug everybody. And because of health and safety, we had to put the halt on that, but I'm hoping that we'll bring that back soon as it's safe to do so.
Right. I mean, if we look back pre-pandemic, I don't think there was a time Halestorm wasn't on the road for longer than a month or so. I mean, going from, constantly being on the road, playing shows, to having no shows for, however many months, how'd that impact you? How did it impact the band? What was it like to just not have that routine there?
It kind of came in waves. In the beginning, it was kind of nice to get a little bit of a break. And then kind of towards the middle, like towards fall, like all of us were really itching to play shows and get out. And then, but for me personally, I don't know how to sit still. Like I have to stay busy. And for me, I just poured all my time into songwriting, into writing, and to being a better musician, being a better, well-rounded musician, and being a stronger songwriter. Like really just focusing on my lyric game, my melody game, my Pro Tools and Logic game, and also got really good at doing writing sessions with other writers over Zoom and other artists. And so for me, it was just, that's all I could do really, is just write. And I also I've been co-hosting a podcast. I got hired to co-host a podcast to do comedy writing and improv comedy and things like that, and interviewing people. And that's been a really fun challenge too. But other than that, I've been just mostly diving into songwriting. And I think that it paid off in a way that I feel like if it wasn't for the pandemic, I don't know if this record that we're about to put out would be as good as it is. I think in my humble opinion, I know I say this about every record, but in my humble opinion, I think this is my favorite one to date because every time we go in the studio, we get a little bit closer to being genuinely honest and being genuinely 100% ourselves. And with every record, there's always some compromise. And I think chronologically, especially from my perspective, tracking and recording, this is the closest that any producer or any writer has let me be more myself and let me be more true and representative of the way that I play and perform live. I think that over the years, we've embellished our songs live to up the energy. And we hear people come up to us all the time. They say, I love your records, but you guys are so much, you got like your live show brings it so much harder. And all of us would just look at each other. We're like, what are we doing wrong in the studio that we're not capturing this essence, this energy of our live performance? And I think we got really close on the last record, but I think with this one, for some reason, it's just slow and steadily getting closer and closer with every record we put out. And I think this is the closest one to date, especially on my end with the drumming. I think it's the closest that I've had this much freedom in the studio to like really play from here, from the heart, and not so much having to compromise and simplify and dumb things down, because it's like, it's rock music. It's got to be dumb and simple. And I think that partially the pent-up aggression from sitting at home has really encouraged us to go in the studio and just put all that out of our minds and just attack it full on. And that's what I started doing. I started just going nuts while tracking drums. And our producer just comes back on the playback. He's like, that was great. Like, do it again like that. And I'm like, really? Like on the last record, you would have told me like, take this fill out, simplify this, make this simpler, make this shorter. And now he's like, no, more chaos. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I really like this. And it's great. Like performing Back from the Dead live, I haven't had to change a thing. I'm playing it note for note like the record, and it feels up to par with the other songs in our live set. So I'm hoping that we just continue that as we continue finishing the record. And I mean, that's kind of the precedent that we've set. And I think it's partially just because we're thinking, I feel like people that are true music fans of rock music, they don't want to hear a simplified, dumbed down, cookie cutter rock song. They want to hear real raw energy. And that's our objective on this record.
And now with that first single,
sorry for the long answer.
Oh, no worries. With that first single, Back from the Dead, I mean, it's such a statement song. I mean, not only for the band, but I think it's something a lot of people feel. Just the message of that song. Is that sort of the reasoning why that was the track that you wanted to sort of reintroduce Halestorm with?
It really wasn't initially the main idea for the song theme, but I think that subconsciously it kind of became that. And yeah, while we were stuck at home, while the world was melting down around us, we had no choice but to be inspired by what was going on. And you know, at times you're angry, at times you're frustrated, and you're scared and you're worried, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know, is this the end of everything that we've known? And I've always encouraged everybody, especially during the pandemic, which for a lot of people, we're social animals as humans, and when people are stuck at home, and especially if they're alone, that's hard. That's detrimental. That's almost traumatizing for people who are even, especially for those who are initially suffering from any type of mental illness or any type of issues that they're dealing with, and it just aggravates it and it blows it up. And so I've been encouraging everybody. That's why I started co-hosting a comedy podcast, because I just wanted to find a way to keep entertaining people, keep them distracted, and help them find an outlet. And vice versa, it was my outlet as well. So during that whole time, I really have just been advocating, like, try painting, try songwriting, try playing guitar, try anything digital. There's so many things at your fingertips that you can do to keep yourself balanced. And yeah, for us, it was writing, it was songwriting, and that helped us get through. And I think that all those emotions and all those feelings inevitably poured into the songs we're writing. And I think Back from the Dead, ironically, was kind of a very literal statement when we were figuratively back from being kind of dead in the water for so many months.
And now, I mean, you and Lizzie, back in 1998, got the band rolling on the road. Sort of so young too. I mean, what's it like growing up in not only in a touring, working touring rock band, but in the same band all that time? Have you sort of have you seen kind of each other, both yourself and Lizzie, kind of grow and mature as musicians in that time?
Of course, yeah. That was because I think a big, and I will advocate for this as well. A lot of parents ask me like, "Hey, my kid's getting into music. What do I do?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but the method that worked for us was having parents who are crazy enough to let their kids do this, and I guess they saw that there was potential there, and they encouraged it, and they wanted to stoke it, and they wanted to let it blossom and let it bloom, and that's the path that worked for us, and I think it's a good way to go. I feel like I'll be the same way when I have kids someday. I'll be like, whatever you want to do, go do it, and I will back it. I'll support it. Like, I don't care what my future children do. Like, I want them to follow their hearts, follow their passion, because that's what worked for us. And my parents, their theory was, college will always be there, but this opportunity to do what you want at this age won't always be there. So yeah, like they were just like, go for it, and if it doesn't work out, your fallback plan is to, go back to school, go to college, figure out a good career for yourself. And if all else fails, that's that'll always be there. But we just happened to get lucky, and it worked out, and here we are still.
Now, for anyone who's seen the band live, knows you have a very big part in that live show with your drum solo. It's grown and evolved throughout the years. How do you kind of going into each tour? Do you bring a different mindset to that? And also, where did you get the gigantic drumsticks from?
Yes. Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'll start with. Okay. Well, first of all, the drum solo. So since the beginning of time, since the beginning of Halestorm, the only reason that we would do a drum solo was to give my bandmates a break. Because when we were a local band in Pennsylvania, we were hustling, like we would play in little dive bars for like 3 hours. We would do 3-hour sets with originals and covers and all this different. It was like a variety show. And we would play like long shows. So we would have moments put in the set where, like, Lizzie and Joe would do an acoustic song that would give me and Josh a break. I would do a drum solo that would give the three of them a break. And yeah, that was kind of why we started doing it. But now it's kind of just become a moment in the show that helps to break it up. It kind of like, it's just, for me personally, like I even find a lot of drum solos kind of boring if it's just like, check out my technique. I can do flamadiddle whittles like for days, like all the like ostinato, like nobody really, the layman doesn't really care about that. They want to be entertained, and it's so that's how I kind of learned how to do it. I was like, nothing I'm doing is really all that complicated. It's just being able to milk those moments, those applause moments, and being able to use dynamics to make it interesting and fun. And also I like doing a lot of crowd interaction stuff. So the big sticks were just a gag that we used to do. And I'll tell you a brief story of how that started. So when we were in Pennsylvania, we had a fan that came out to the show, and he was a Chuck E. Cheese franchise owner. I don't know if Chuck E. Cheese is still around. You remember Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah. I think there's a few. Yeah, I don't know. Some shady things going on there. No, so he owned a Chuck E. Cheese franchise, and they had a pair of big sticks mounted to the wall. And he came out to a show. He's like, "Hey, we're shutting down this store over here, and we had this pair of big sticks just, in the dumpster I fished him out for you. He cleaned them off, it's like, we were just going to throw these away. Like, here, you might like these. You could put them up in your room or something, and they're a cool decorative piece. And I was like, oh no, I'm just going to play with these in the drum solo, and just for fun, just for the hell of it. And so I did it, and it's really nothing that special. Like, you can't really do a lot with them because they're so big and bulky. I can just basically kind of just bang on the drums, at a very slow pace. But the crowd seemed to love it. So now I've kind of made my bed. We've tried to retire them a few times. We've tried to do tours
they just can't go away.
Yeah, they just keep coming back. People just continue to want to see them. So yeah. So they've never died. They live on, and I think they'll just always kind of just be a part of our show. And I don't think we'll be able to not do it. People get upset. They'd be pissed. They'd be like, I drove 3 hours with my daughter. We wanted to see the big sticks, and I was like, really? What? So dumb. But it's fun, and it's different, and it's unique, and it's like, okay, well, it's working, so let's keep it in,
There you go. Now, just to close out, you referenced it a little bit before, but just to, I guess, to give fans sort of a sneak peek of the direction of the new record. It sounds like you're going in, a big, bold, loud rock record. Is that sort of what people should be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the record as a whole goes, I think it will be bigger. It'll be louder. It'll be more. It'll be more chaotic, which is kind of close to what our live shows are. Like, it's kind of controlled chaos sometimes. And as far as my little world goes, like on the drumming, I mean the writing is the biggest part, and that I think that we've gone above and beyond because we've just become stronger songwriters since I think. We could have the pandemic to thank for that because there was nothing else we could do but sit at home and write. But as far as the drumming goes, it's been fun for me because I've been able to go back to my roots and channel the kind of drumming that I grew up playing, which is, of course, like classic rock drumming, like Keith Moon and Ginger Baker and John Bonham and all those cats. And then, but also go back to my roots. One of my other favorite style of drumming to do is punk drumming. I love punk music. So I've been applying punk elements. Some parts of the songs I'm applying hip hop elements. So it's just going to be just one step further to getting to 100% authenticity, to straight from the heart. I think with every record we do, we get closer to it. And yet again, we've just taken it another step closer.
Excellent. Well, perfect. Arejay Hale, Halestorm, thank you so much for taking the time, and we'll see you down the road here in the Bay Area in early November.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to get over there. Thanks for taking the time, man. Really appreciate it. I can't wait to get up there.
That was Arejay Hale, drummer in Halestorm. Be sure to check out the new single, Back from the Dead. New album coming soon. The band on the road. Find them all over the United States, here in the Bay Area in November with Evanescence at the SAP Center. Tickets available now. As always, for the latest music news, concert reviews, interviews from the Bay Area and beyond, check out RIFF Magazine online, riffmagazine.com. I am Mike DeWald.